The panel discussion will be televised on Net TV right after this edition of Currents News. The moderator, editor-in-chief of Crux, John Allen, joins us now. John, thanks so much for being with us.
Of course, Tina, we're glad to do it.
John, so some of the top U.S. Catholic figures in the church were there. What can the audience expect to see on tonight's show?
Well, your audience can expect what they always get on net, which is must-see TV. This forum was really remarkable because if you think about who we had on that stage at the University of Notre Dame, Peter Steinfels, probably the Dean of Religion Reporters in America, who has been covering the clerical sexual abuse scandals before you and I ever knew there was such a thing. Juan Carlos Cruz, a survivor of the most notorious pedophile priest in Chile, the ex-priest now, Fernando Caradima, guy who kicked open the doors on the scandal in Chile and also turned the Pope around on that issue and who has regular contact with the Pope. Kathleen McChesney, former third highest ranking official in the FBI, who ran the U.S. Bishop's Office of Child Protection. And Archbishop William Lori of Baltimore, who has been a bishop for almost a quarter century and been dealing with this issue almost all of that time. Any one of these people could have anchored a fascinating discussion about the clerical abuse crisis in the church. To get all four of them together and to watch them interact and to see the synergy that happened among the four of them, I mean, it was something special. They had obviously all thought very carefully about what they wanted to say, because here's the thing. On the American Catholic landscape, the University of Notre Dame is a special place. It is sort of considered like the Athens of the American Catholic Church. It's where Catholicism in America does its thinking, and people know that. They take it seriously when they're there.
Well, let's talk about the subject matter of the night's forum. The university's forum was highlighting the reforms the church is making to recover from the abuse crisis. Did any of the panelists talk about how they rate the church's performance so far?
Well, we did go a scale of 1 to 10, or, A to F. But I think there's a pretty strong consensus with some dissent. I would say 3 out of the 4 people there would have agreed that the church over the last, say, call it decade and a half, has made remarkable strides. And that some of the criticism of the church that we are seeing these days, for instance, last year's famous Pennsylvania grand jury report, which suggested that absolutely nothing had been done by the Catholic Church to address child sexual abuse, is false. That in fact, after the Dallas Charter in 2002, strong measures were put into place to which the overwhelming majority of bishops bought in. Now every diocese in the country virtually is doing background checks. They have reporting mechanisms and so forth and so on. And so there was a sense that great progress has been made. Now that doesn't mean that there is an unfinished business, but that nevertheless important strides forward have been taken. The dissenting note was from Juan Carlos Cruz, who is a victim of a very well-known pedophile priest in Chile. And basically, Juan Carlos's argument was, you guys are Americans. This may be true in America, but it's not true where I come from. And it's not true in many other parts of the world. That this abuse that we're talking about is not a thing of the past. The cover-up is not a thing of the past. So I think there is a sense that some of the things that have happened here need to go global.
Well, so what do you hope the viewers will come away with once they watch this?
What I hope they will come away with is a sense that there are people out there, influential, responsible people, who do get it, who understand the cancer that this crisis has been for the Catholic Church for the last 20 years, and is likely to be for the foreseeable future, who also get that much of the criticism the church sometimes receives from the secular world is exaggerated, unfair, and out of context, and that there is a need to stand up against that. And at the same time, there is also a need to acknowledge we have not finished the job, that there are important pieces of unfinished business. I mean, Archbishop Lori of Baltimore, interestingly, I think was stronger than anyone else on this panel about the need to achieve real accountability for bishops, and not just bishops who abuse, but bishops who cover up abuse by others. And I think everyone would say that that remains unfinished business in the Catholic Church. So I think what I'm hoping people will take away is a sense that we can be tremendously proud of what we've done, but at the same time we cannot be complacent because there's a lot left to be done.
Okay, a lot more ahead. editor-in-chief of Crux, John Allen. Thanks so much for being with us.
Of course, Dan, we're glad to do it.